Hey, everybody, welcome to the Dino and Joe Show. This is Dino, that is Joe.
Hello.
Hello.
What's new? What's exciting?
New and exciting?
Yeah.
Man, there is a ton of new. I don't know if it's exciting.
I mean,
Between, soccer camps and work stuff, and there's a lot going on.
yeah, it's a busy time.
It is a busy time. And you?
Living the dream.
That's your dream?
So, I was talking to somebody at work and they said living the dream, dealing with the nightmare. And I've never
Wow. Wow.
I
They've
was
they've
like,
really turned that
that's
screw.
I was like, wow,
Holy cow.
that's a
We should talk
concerning
about
statement.
your yeah, we should talk about your mental health at work. That kind of frightens me a little bit. Are
Well,
you
so
okay?
okay, there is something
Yeah.
that I kind of have always done in my life. And I want to
Okay.
see if you're like this or if you're a little bit different than me. So,
Okay.
we had a conversation about this recently, I have taken up watching the TV show Sopranos, The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love The
Uh,
Sopranos.
it's a great show. Like I'm halfway through season 5 now, so we're almost done. We have
Yep.
one more season to go.
Right.
And
No one ruin it for you about how it ends.
no, but well, I mean, so here's the thing. I know how it ends, and that's fine. Like I
I
don't
know.
care. I just want to see what leads up to that, right?
Right.
And and again, this show came out in 99 and ended, I think, in like 04 or 05.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
that's clearly like 16 years ago
Yeah.
or something like that.
By
And
now you
I
should know how it ends. Let's
well,
be
right,
honest.
exactly, right? Like if spoiler alerts, like you come
Yeah.
on, I should figure it out. But I always tend to watch television shows way after they premiere and are even relevant.
Okay.
So, for instance, the TV show House. I never
Never saw it.
watched House. So it's
Nope.
about you get the idea, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a
The
doctor.
doctor.
It's basically
Yeah.
like a Sherlock Holmes
Yes.
situation, except he is the doctor and he's got a
Right.
best friend, all that stuff. I,
Right.
I love that show, but I never watched it when it was on TV. I watched it reruns and through streaming services. Um, How I Met Your Mother. The show got very annoying and I stopped watching it, but I never watched it when it was on. I watched it afterwards. Boston Legal. I love Boston Legal. I didn't watch that when it actually came on because that was
Never
like the
watched
night.
that show.
It's with William Shatner and
Never saw it.
it's so good. My favorite one though is The West Wing.
Nope, didn't watch that either.
Wow. I do watch a lot of old men shows though.
Yeah,
Like
you do.
The
Yeah,
Golden
you do.
Girls. Love The Golden Girls. I
I
will
I've only seen like 4 episodes of that, but my wife has watched, I think, every one.
they're all fantastic. There's not a bad one in there.
So all of these shows you've watched after they were shown?
And I mean like consider not like it's not like it ended and then I'm like, "Oh, let's
Mhm.
pick it up." I'm talking like this like West Wing ended I think in 2004. I started watching that in 2016.
So here's where here's where the differences are in how we grew up.
Okay.
Because you grew up at a time when streaming came into be,
Mhm.
right? Where you had or even before that, DVD,
All the stuff.
right?
Yep.
All that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
they started republishing all these things that were on when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we didn't have that.
Right.
You either so I remember, and so this is really going to age me, but before the VCR,
Wow, that does
right?
age you. Yeah.
You had to watch a show when it was on,
Yep.
and we didn't have there was no cable at the time.
Mhm.
It was 3 shows, ABC, or 3 stations, ABC, CBS, and NBC. That was it. I remember when Fox came on. And Fox had no content. Like they showed like things like the Great Space Coaster on the morning because that was their Sesame Street version, right? With so they just got whatever programming they can get from Canada and put it on. And you didn't. So the show would run, and the only other time they ran was as a rerun in the summer.
Right. Summer
Shows would
was
go on
always
hiatus.
reruns.
And
Always.
so in the summer, you got a chance to catch that the other time. And I remember specifically a time where there was a show I wanted to watch. I didn't get to see it. My dad said, "Oh, you'll have to catch it this summer."
Mhm.
Like I remember that was the way that you did. So you planned your TV time by what shows were on, and you fought over what shows you were going to watch. Because I remember my mom watching Dukes of Hazzard, but my dad did not want to watch that. So they were in separate rooms, right? because that's how you watch
That's how you had to
TV.
do it.
There was no streaming service, So I got used to watching shows as they came on,
Mhm.
right? And up until really, I would say just a few years ago, even, I still planned my, like on Thursday nights, I would watch CSI New Orleans,
Mhm.
right? Because that's the night it was on. We've really broken away from that hugely now. Like I can tell you that now I barely watch anything on a regular channel.
Mhm.
Everything is off a streaming service in some way.
Sure.
Um, I never think about it, but it's a different lifestyle. Well, you had the opportunity to have a VCR of it, then to have a DVD of it, right? Then to have streaming of it. And so it's changed completely how we consume any of that product.
Absolutely.
But yeah, absolutely. I lived a completely different lifestyle. I used to watch a TV show when it came out, and if you didn't see it then, you didn't see it.
I know. So, I was born in the late 80s, watched TV in the 90s, and you're right, VCRs were 100% there. We
Yep.
did that, but at the same time, I remember TGIF, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was Family Matters,
Yep.
Full House, all these different things. And I remember the
Sure.
horror of having to go to the bathroom and being like, okay, I have probably 2 minutes between the commercial and I
Yeah.
got to run back. I don't want to miss a second
Right.
of it. Otherwise, like you said, it's the same thing, commercials or reruns in the summer, right? Like you could do
Well,
it again in the summer.
and I think too that TV programming got better.
Oh yeah,
Right, and
100%.
so as it got better, it used to be that on a, Thursday night on NBC, that was the only thing on.
Hmm?
The other channels gave up that time slot,
Yep.
right? They put on stuff they knew wasn't gonna compete against it, so you weren't missing anything really, like, they all kinda had their niches and their times, right? Wednesday night was CBS, and
Yep.
Monday night was ABC because they had Monday Night Football, and, that I remember when Monday Night Football left ABC and everybody went, "Well, no one's ever gonna watch Monday Night Football now, it's on cable," and now what is ABC showing on Monday night? No one knows because they're
Yeah.
over on ESPN,
SPN,
right?
exactly.
So, like, that's the way it used to be. And then I remember when the VCR came out and you could record a show and watch another channel at the same time. That was revolutionary,
It
right? Now
was.
you could watch two different shows. You're right. That was unheard of. And then, oh my heaven forbid if you re-recorded over somebody's show that they hadn't
Oh,
watched yet.
my mother did that to me all the time when I was a kid. I would record all my favorite stuff, and she'd be like, "No, no, 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 we're watching this." And I was like,
Yes.
"Why?"
Yes.
It was, one of the big things that I remember was, or I know now, is that I am spoiled by streaming
Sure.
because I don't. My work schedule is very different. Where I don't typically, I'm not home at any specific time. I get home when I get home. So it's
Yep.
difficult for us to say, okay, Friday night we're going to watch this, Thursday night this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We always record it, we stream it, we do whatever, we catch it the next day. We have Hulu, Netflix, Sling, so we have all
Oh,
these different
geez.
methods. And the one thing that we would always watch on the day of would be Law and Order Special SVU, Special Victims Unit, because that was a show that she loved. Tiff
'Cause it's a
loves that
grandpa
show.
show.
Tiff likes it too. It's a great show, but we want to watch
I've
it in
never
the
watched that
moment.
show. Never
It's,
watched it.
I mean, it's 20 years. It's very good, very very good. But there's new things like Loki that's
Yeah.
on, I think, Wednesdays.
Yep.
We've watched, I think, an episode and a half just because we want to build up all of them. I think it just ended. The first season ended or something
Nope.
like that. No, not
Nope.
yet.
Not yet.
Soon,
I'm not running the
maybe.
show, but
I don't.
the last
You're
episode
not
I'm
the
trying not to give
showrunner.
anything. No, I'm not today anyway. But no, they still have more episodes to go
That's fine. Well, we want to
based on where
build
they
up a
ended
little
this
bit of.
last one.
We want to build up a little bit of a binge thing because, like,
Yeah.
we've binged The Sopranos. Like, I have been off. I took off a few days, and in those days off, we crushed 4 seasons of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
So
See,
it's
we
like
don't
that's what we do.
we yeah, I mean I don't want to say we don't binge because there's things that we watch and we'll watch an episode a night.
Yeah.
Right, or something like that, but,
Mhm.
well, she'll watch, Handmaid's Tale,
Mhm.
right? We'll watch that when it comes out, but
Same.
if not, if she misses a week, then we'll watch 2 episodes, right? We'll watch,
Sure.
I will tell you all the Marvel stuff and The Mandalorian, we've watched the night that it
It's
comes out that day, right?
yeah.
So if it's, like, Sunday night or, like, Friday night was Mandalorian night. We get pizza, watch Mandalorian. That was going to happen. Like every Wednesday night's Loki night, right? So we've been doing that. Those will do. But I'm trying to think. The last, I will tell you the one thing I did binge here in the last several weeks is Yellowstone with Kevin
Oh,
Costner.
with Kevin Costner. Is that
That is
good?
amazing. He really loves his ranch.
When did that come out?
It's 3 seasons in.
Okay.
And then, and not to, I have no spoilers, but I do know that based on what I've read, I'm into the show now. I'm really into the show. Like I really
You're
like it a
reading up
lot.
about this. You're reading up about this
It
show
comes
now?
up on my Google News feed now, and
Wait until it hits your TikTok. There's going to
and
be Yellowstone TikTok coming up.
they revealed that there's a 4th season coming out in the fall.
Okay.
And one of the actors just put out the other day that they're starting to shoot season 5. So we're all excited.
Look
There's
at
at least
that.
2 more seasons, and we got to
We're
find out what
all
happens with the
excited.
ranch.
You and your fellow Yellowstone fans.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
I will tell you, it's amazing.
Okay.
And it's one of those shows where you go, yeah, I couldn't do that.
Where can I watch
I couldn't
this?
work a ranch. It's on Peacock.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Paramount product, so
Yeah.
it's on Peacock. But you have to pay for Peacock Premium.
Of course. That's how they get you with The Office too.
Yeah.
I have lost so much respect for NBC when they took The Office off of Netflix and made me pay for it. How dare you? Do you know how
Yeah,
much of
well,
my life has
your
been
streaming
dedicated to
service.
that show? I can't.
Look, the reality is that you're going to have to, we're going to get to a point where you have to pick the streaming services that you want, because if you have all of them, it will cost you more than cable.
So that was my other thing, right? Like, I remember growing up, my mom and dad always were the people who were like, I want every cable channel, I want every station. I was so spoiled. I had every movie channel available. Anything I could watch all of the the Cinemaxes, all the HBOs, the Stars, TLC, whatever. And when I moved out on my own, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like my mom and pop. Let's do
What's that
this.
package cost?
And then I'm like, I was like, I'd like to sign up for the extremely large, incredibly, full
Super
of TV
size
show. Yeah.
package.
And they were like, okay, that'll be $273 a month. And I was
Right.
like, what did you just say to me? 270 a month?
A month.
Not a year, per month?
This is
They're
not
like,
a
yeah.
car payment.
And I was like, and I thought to myself, are my parents crazy? Are we
Right.
rich? Did I
Right.
not know we're rich? What do we do? But my parents, in fairness, do love movies, and like
Sure.
they're big TV people in the morning and at dinner, and that's fine. Like God love them for doing that for so many years, because I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take basic cable for
Yeah.
for $19.99 a month.
Right.
And then I started doing streaming services, and we're so much happier with that because we find ourselves watching less TV, right?
Oh, actually, yeah.
I mean, we still watch it a fair amount, but considering where I was to where I am now, like we're doing other things than watching TV. We're reading, we're going on our computer,
Yep.
doing some research and reading the news, doing all these different things. So it's just nice to be able to have a different outlet than purely a television situation, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I think the further we go down the streaming vein, which is where we're going, right?
Yep.
You can see entertainment's going with streaming. And I think there's 2 things that COVID did in that streaming world. One, it showed that streaming is a viable option
Mhm.
for programming that you can produce at a more adult level you can't put on TV.
Correct.
Because of standards and practices. There's things you can't say, things you can't show. Yellowstone could never be on NBC. It would be highly edited, and it would not be worth watching.
Right.
The other thing that I hope doesn't go away is that I love the fact of the new release movies being on streaming services. I like the fact that
Say that again.
new release movies.
Oh, new release movies. Yes. Okay.
So, right, we just watched Black Widow, for example,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I'll pay the $30 to watch Black Widow in my home with my family, because that's cheaper than us going to a movie theater to watch it.
$12 per person.
Yeah.
Plus the popcorn, plus the drinks, plus everything else. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, so for me, I see the value in that, and I'm hoping that stays. I know that that's not good for the movie theater industry.
Right.
But I think that industry has to change because I think streaming is going to change everything for the entertainment industry when it comes to how we look at what Apple Music has done for music releases. By paying for Apple Music, you don't buy albums anymore. You have a different way that you consume that media, and the artist isn't hurt by it. They're still getting royalties. They get whatever that residual is. But I think that streaming services are going to continue to grow. The danger is that they seem cheap because it's only $5.99 or $14.99 or $12.99 or whatever it is, and then Netflix says, hey, we're going to raise your bill $1, and you go, well, okay,
it's $1.
It's on a card. I never really see it. But now if you sit down and you take all your streaming services and add them up, and then you look at what you would pay for cable, and cable's not giving you that programming, so you're forced to go to streaming. Like, that's a world where I think we haven't figured out yet that kind of is dangerous, because I think that people just go, oh, well, it's not that much a month, really. The problem is I have 10 streaming services that I'm paying for. So I think that because you can consume the product and you can consume it fast and you can consume it all at once, it seems like it's a really good value. But I'm worried about where the charge to people go when they start looking at, I'm paying 3 times my cable bill to have Hulu and Netflix and HBO Max and Peacock, and so that I think is the danger. But that's where we're going. Streaming services will be the future of how we consume TV.
100%. And so right now, I'm going back to school, so I get a student discount on a lot of things, right? My Spotify, instead of being $10 a month, is only like $4.99. I get HBO Max for free because of my AT&T because of my internet subscription. My Showtime is free because of Spotify. I just get a whole bunch of deals with it. If I had to pay for these, I would say no thank you. Showtime, I can't tell you the last time I actually watched it. I have it because there's some interesting things on there, but I haven't watched it in like 3 months. I've had it for 6. HBO Max, that's that's very useful for us, and luckily that's going to keep going because that's from AT&T, so that's great. Hulu and Netflix are the 2 that we're probably going to keep no matter what. And we're thinking about maybe adding in an Apple TV, in which case we might remove another streaming service. So you really have to, like you said, keep on your game to make sure you don't go from a reasonable, $60, $70, $80 a month to basically paying $278 for things you own. And the thing is, my parents always said this, you're only watching one thing at once. Why do you need to have your computer open and your TV on and looking at your phone? You can only look at one thing at one time. Why do you have all this stuff on? And it's the same thing. Why do I have 9 different streaming services? I typically only watch 1 or 2. Why do I have to have so many?
Yeah. And the thing is, look for the deals.
Yep, always.
Look for the deals, the bundles, the if you buy an iPhone, you get, Apple TV for free for a year. Like, look for the deals because they have to incentivize to get you on their platform.
Correct.
And the reality is, like, that's gonna continue. That's the cable of the future.
Absolutely.
It's the Dino and Joe Show. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back to the Dino and Joe Show. This is Dino. That is Joe. I have a question for you, Joe.
I most likely have an answer.
Do you collect anything?
Kind of. Like I like shoes. I like backpacks. I like,
but do you
EDC
collect
gear.
it? Do you collect anything that you're like, like as a kid, collecting was part of what I grew up with, right? My dad did coins and stamps, right? Because that was the thing you did in the 20s and 30s and 40s. I collected comic books, baseball cards. I have started in on vintage lapel pins from Liverpool. That's a thing.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
But I was wondering if you collect anything.
I mean, for a while, I collected quarters.
Yep.
No real reason. It wasn't like I wasn't looking for 1900 to present. I just liked quarters, and I thought they were cool. I would keep them, organized by year.
Yeah.
But that's probably, and honestly,
by mint?
No.
By mint where they were produced?
Nope.
So, with coins, I don't know if you know.
You're going to
not
teach me
with-
something. I knew nothing. I
with
just like the quarters.
coins next to the date or somewhere on the face of the coin, there will be a mint stamp.
Okay.
So if there's no mint stamp, there's what they call a plain,
Hmm.
but then there will be either a P or a D because it's either minted in Denver or Philadelphia.
Oh, I didn't know.
And so when you collect coins, you want to collect all three variants. You want to, so if you're like a 1980 quarter, you would want the 1980 plain, the 1980 P, and the 1980 D.
That's
And then
cool.
you
I didn't
have
know
all
that.
three coins of the series.
That's
Yeah.
actually really cool. I didn't know that.
And that's true for all coins, and that's also true for paper money as well. There's different variants and things.
Oh, that's another. So talking about a previous topic on
Hmm.
TikTok, one of the
Yes.
things that makes me another old man, it's called The Coin Show, where this gentleman finds coins and he's like, oh, look at this. It's a nickel, but it's worth $500. Or
Yeah.
because this bill has a star here, this
Yeah.
$1 bill is worth $250. I
Yep.
think that's cool too. But that's probably the closest I've ever come to actually truly collecting something. Maybe rocks too when I was a kid.
Yep.
But again, it was basically if it was, flat or red or what, like nothing. I was never that into it.
So I've created a monster.
Oh no.
So my wife has never collected
Yes.
anything.
Okay.
Never been a collector, never
Sure.
really cared to collect.
Sure.
Doesn't understand my level of collecting with like comic books. Like I
Yeah.
have lots and lots of comic books.
Sure.
And so she just never really has. And I really would say so my wife's really into Starbucks.
Mhm.
Like I mean into Starbucks. And I like this is my one cup that I have. This is a Starbucks recycled glass cup.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, take a refreshing sip. There you are.
Yes. And so for Christmas, I started to get her the Starbucks ornaments. And she started to get a few and then she got a lot. And then, as time went on, and now she has her own little 4-foot Christmas tree that has, it's full of Starbucks cups ornaments.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that's where it kind of started. And then
Sure.
we were in Times Square in New York where she got her first Starbucks cup.
Okay.
And I did not know the culture that surrounds Starbucks cup collecting.
Can you tell me? Because I'm unaware of it as
Holy
well.
cow. This is a real thing. And this is a
Really?
real thing for big money.
Really?
So Starbucks releases cups at certain times.
Mhm.
And there are places online and Facebook groups and whatever that you can be a part of to find out about Starbucks cups when they release, what the cups are going to be. Like I had no idea this existed. So she's gotten into this, and this is now at an international level, and I'm not joking.
International?
Yeah. So there's cups that release in China, there's cups that release in parts of Asia, there's cups that release around the world that do not release anywhere else.
Right.
So they're instantly collectible. To the point where there was a big snafu in this last cup release that just happened, where in the Midwest the cups didn't get shipped.
Uh-oh.
So they were showing up on the West Coast and East Coast, but they weren't showing up in the Midwest. And all the collectors in the Midwest are trying to like scramble and find these cups. And so they're like, my wife has a whole network of people that look for cups for each other. It's crazy.
That's
Right?
ridiculous.
And I don't mean crazy in a bad way. It's crazy in the sense of like I didn't know the level like this
Right.
is.
Dedication.
She has 2 fairly large cabinets full of cups.
Okay.
And they're all different colors and different schemes and from different parts of the world. And
Questions. I
yes.
have questions.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you say cups, are you talking about like what you have or like a
Well, there's all
bottle?
different kinds.
Okay. So do they all have
So
straws?
some do. So
Some
some
do,
are
some don't.
bottles,
Okay.
some are straws,
Okay.
straw cups, like said cup, right? And then there's different styles of cup. I've learned there's studded cups, and they're literally studded all the way down, right? And then there's domed cups that have a dome across the top, and then there's other types of cups, and there's oh, what else is there? There's matte, there's like different colors. Like she has this that's called the
Okay.
Barbie cup, and it is bright pink. It is unbelievably Barbie pink. Like
Sure.
there's a cup that looks like a pineapple, right? It's yellow and it's got a green lid, and like I had no idea this existed. It was a Hawaii release, only released in
Well, that
Hawaii,
makes sense.
right?
That makes sense.
So like there are these cups, like it's incredible. She has cups that she's had. Now, get this. She has cups that she just bought because she liked before it became like this collecting thing. And these cups are selling online for $200, $300, $400 a piece. I'm like, because you can't get them anymore. They don't produce them after they release them. That's it. That's the cups they release into the world that day. And we have cups from Asia at Valentine's Day did a whole collection of cups that were bees.
Oh,
And
so that's
being
got
a
to be for you.
beekeeper,
Yeah, of course.
that was a big deal. So we, scoured the internet to find great deals on these bee cups from China and Southeast Asia. Uh, I will tell you, it is a amazing culture that I did not know existed. And these women that are in her group, they literally search for cups. My wife gets up early in the morning on new cup release day to go hit the Starbucks inside Targets and Kroger's and Starbucks standalone stores to go find these cups. And every time she does, she talks about somebody else she met that's there to find cups as well. It is incredible. I didn't know it existed.
More questions.
Yes.
So we've determined that they are a variety of different types of cups.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Now, of these, however many cups, does she utilize them for drinking, or are they purely decorative?
No, she actually matches her cups to her mood, her outfit, and her nail color.
Okay, so that's a positive.
And she does use it fine every day. She uses a different cup.
That's good. Okay.
I'll be honest with you, every day.
That's good. No, that's good. Now, does this include those mugs as well, or is it purely cups?
No, we have the mugs as well. So the Ben Here series mugs, which
the Ben Here. Yes.
So people that don't know, they did mugs for cities and they did mugs for states. Mm-hmm. And they have a theme on the mug of what makes the state or represents the state. Right. So like Tennessee will be a guitar for Nashville and a baseball bat for Louisville Slugger. And right. And so like Seattle will have like the skyline, the Space Needle on that cup, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. DC has all the DC stuff on it, right? So so there's series 1 and series 2. Series 1 is fairly old and you can't find those anymore. They're on series 2. And those are cups that we get when we travel. And actually, so I used to bring them back when we go on business trips. Mm-hmm. So we traveled to like Las Vegas. I would go and get her the Las Vegas Ben There cup and bring it back, right?
Sure.
And so it's kind of cool little thing to bring back and say, right. And so we do that when we go on like vacation and stuff. She'll like, get a cup from the state that we're in. So like we'll have a Kentucky cup when we go through Kentucky, right? And we go down to Georgia this year. Like she has a Georgia cup from last year. I went to Georgia and she's very interested to know if there's a Puerto Rico cup for when she goes to Puerto Rico. So yeah, those we do as like a piece of like traveling, right? It's kind of a souvenir you bring back.
It's a fun piece, yeah.
The other cup collecting is done on a level of collecting that I was never even remotely a part of when I was collecting everything I was collecting. So yeah, it's a subculture that's incredible to me. Incredible.
That's actually really cool. Well, so you know what? Now that I think about it, hold on. Now I am not personally collecting this, but Tiff and I together when we travel places have been doing it. Soup spoon rests.
Soup spoon rests?
I don't know why, but that apparently is our new thing when we travel. Like you get
I didn't know
mugs.
Those were a thing.
It is. So when so this first one wasn't she and I, it was her and her sister when they went to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. They got 2 cool like voodoo soup spoons New Orleans ones. When we went to Mexico, we got a Riviera Maya Cancun, Mexico one. Right. When we went to Disney, we got a Disney one. And I think that's the plan now. Whenever we travel somewhere, we want to find a soup spoon rest. And that's just our thing.
Yeah, we've always brought back Christmas ornaments from wherever we go, right? Mm-hmm. So we travel, we bring back a Christmas ornament, it goes on the tree the next year. And so the tree, our Christmas tree is basically a myriad of
places you travel,
memories and places that we've been.
That's cool.
And sometimes you can bring stuff back that isn't a Christmas tree ornament and make it one, right? Like when we went to France, we had a little Eiffel Tower, right? We
just put a little string through it. There you go.
Yeah. So that's kind of a cool thing. But I will tell you that like I find the collecting like that she's doing like absolutely it's actually really unique and it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah. I've never heard of that before.
Because I didn't know it existed, right? And so then I started finding out that like you can get like old Starbucks tins, right? Which, so Starbucks used to do tins when they packaged cookies, right? And early in the 90s when they were trying to establish their brand, right? And so like she has some of these things now that it's interesting to see something that's so modern and so, in our time today, like Starbucks becoming a what they consider vintage collector's item. But as they go through with these, and I'm talking about like the tins and some of these
Right.
older things that they've done, but there's a whole appetite for that I had no idea was out there.
Well, when I hear collecting, the first thing I go to is shoes because I know some friends of mine
Yeah.
who have made a ridiculous amount of money just collecting shoes, selling
Oh yeah.
shoes. Like, and for me, shoes go on your feet. They go on the ground. I literally buy a pair of shoes and I wear them literally into the ground, and then I buy a new pair. And they usually cost me between $50 and $90, and that's
Yep.
it. Some people I know like spend $3,000 on a pair of shoes that only were
Yeah.
made like 500 of back in like 2004, and they're special because this person. It's like,
I
dude, they
have
go.
one pair of shoes that I wear very sparingly, and I do not wear them hardly ever.
Hmm.
And that is a pair of special edition 125-year anniversary Liverpool shoes that were made by New
Oh, that's
Balance.
cool.
And
Okay,
I don't like to wear them because I don't want to get them dirty. And
of
they're
course.
not like a normal pair of shoes you wear. But you're right. Other than that, any pair of shoes I buy, they probably have dirt on them because I'm probably in the yard with them.
Well, so one of the movies I've always enjoyed was The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Have you ever heard?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite movies. Wes
Wes
Anderson
Anderson. Yeah.
is all of his movies are fantastic. I own them all. They're great.
Absolutely. Yes.
But I was looking online, and I have a rather large foot. I have a size 13 shoe, so it's not small,
You
and
know
it
what they
can be
say about big feet,
big socks.
big shoes.
That too. All of the above. So a size 13, it was challenging, but I found so Adidas actually made Team Zissou
No.
shoes. Yeah, they did, and I
Really?
own them. They're awesome. I think I've worn them once around the house, never worn
Yeah.
them outside because they're white and like a
Yes.
very nice like brown leather, and I was
Right.
not gonna chance anything happening to those. But I bought them. They were like 100. Those are probably one of the more expensive pairs of shoes I ever bought myself at like 130
Yeah.
bucks
Yeah.
off of like
Yeah.
Adidas's website, but that's
Right.
money well spent. Like that is one of the coolest things. Like one year, I haven't done it yet, and I don't know why, but I should. I want to be a member of the Zissou Society. You know, I want to be part of Team
Right.
Zissou and just put
Right.
on a red stocking cap and like a powder blue tracksuit and just rock around like just do the whole thing. Um,
That's great.
the other thing that my parents collect, which makes them the cool parents, are shot glasses.
Oh yeah.
So as we do with soup spoon holders rather,
Yeah.
they do with shot glasses. So when we went to Mexico, we got them a shot glass. When we went
Sure.
there, but they have a cabinet that is very large, like a glass cabinet that goes damn near ceiling to floor, and it is pretty wide, filled
Right.
with shot glasses. Like I mean, I think there's 5 rows deep all the way across. It's
Right.
it's a
Right.
lot of shot glasses from everywhere they've traveled and gone to and done for work or personal or whatever. And we still have some because I have, because of the pandemic, I haven't really seen them in about a year and a half. But when we go up there, we have some from Disney to bring them. It's a fun
Awesome.
little mini Mickey, Goofy, and Donald shot glass set.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, here's where the level we're at. So there was a specific cup
Mhm.
that was very hard to find.
Okay.
And through my wife's network, that she
Mhm.
managed to not only find one, but she
The
managed to
network.
find on her own some of the ones she was looking for. So her network found her some, she found some, and this is how international this is. we're we're watching Loki, and I go, "What are you doing?" Because she's on her phone. She's like, "I'm trying to sell one of these cups online." Because she has now multiples, right?
Yes.
And I said, "Well, what's going on?" She's like, "Well, the woman in Japan that I know, she just got out of bed, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me as to whether or not she wants one of these cups." There you go. It's the Dino and Joe Show.